Imagine this. Nearly 80% of retail traders lose their accounts within the first year. And it isn't because they don't study, because they aren't smart, or because the market is unfair. It's because there's an invisible force at work, one most traders never notice until the damage is done. That force lives inside the mind. The market doesn't punish traders directly. It amplifies their instincts, impulses, and hesitation. And those who fail are not the unlucky ones. They're the ones whose brains betray them faster than they can intervene. The hidden flaw is deceptively simple. Impulsive decisions versus calculated ones. Humans are wired for immediate reward and threat detection, not delayed reasoning or pattern analysis. When a candle spikes or a sudden opportunity appears, dopamine floods the brain. Mark was a typical retail trader. He had ambition, energy, and the conviction that he could beat the market if he just followed enough rules. Nights were spent poring over charts, memorizing candlestick formations, tracking macro news, and learning about indicators. Each detail was a puzzle piece he believed would make him profitable. One Monday morning, he saw a spike in a tech stock after an earnings release. The first instinct hit instantly. Excitement. His chest tightened. His palms were sweaty. The charts were aligned perfectly, or so he told himself. He had a plan, a stop loss, a risk cap, yet instinct overpowered planning. The $2,000 went in with barely a thought. Within 5 minutes, the spike reversed. Panic took over. He doubled down, hoping to reclaim the lost ground. By the end of the day, the account was bleeding red, and Mark's chest ached, not just financially, but emotionally. The next day, the same feeling returned. Another opportunity, another spike, another chance to act impulsively. He rationalized it. I'll be smarter this time. I'll follow my rules. Yet the same dopamine-fueled reaction, triggered before his conscious mind could intervene. Another impulsive trade. Another loss. Over the course of the week, he felt a sense of helplessness creeping in. Each click, each rapid entry, reinforced a destructive loop. His rule-following mind screamed at him, but his instinct acted faster than logic could restrain it. Mark's story doesn't end there. Weeks later, he observed a familiar pattern forming in a stock he had been monitoring. He recognized it. Technically, he knew it. But as he watched the price move, the old feeling returned. That same rush, the same surge of adrenaline telling him, this is the moment, don't wait. He paused. For a second, he hesitated. But hesitation is a subtle poison for impulsive traders. By the time he acted, the opportunity had partially slipped. The profit he could have captured evaporated, leaving frustration and self-doubt in its place. And yet, he didn't stop. He couldn't. Each subsequent trade repeated the same cycle. His brain had learned its own version of control, one that undermined his conscious strategy at every turn. Then there's Emma. She was methodical, disciplined. Every trade was calculated, every risk considered, every potential outcome mapped before clicking buy. She studied charts, prepared scenarios, and followed indicators with almost ritualistic consistency. She wasn't reckless. She was cautious to a fault, and that caution became her own invisible trap. One morning, a stock she had been monitoring showed the perfect setup. All her indicators aligned, volatility was low, and the pattern matched historical trends. The opportunity seemed obvious, but Emma froze. Minutes ticked by. Her mind ran a continuous loop. What if the breakout fails? What if the retracement hits my stop? Maybe I should wait one more candle. By the time she acted, the trade had already moved 2% against her. The profit she could have captured was gone. Frustration and guilt surfaced immediately, quietly eroding her confidence. Weeks later, the same thing happened again. Another trade, another hesitation. She analyzed endlessly, second-guessed herself, and watched opportunities slip through her fingers. Each missed trade added weight to her mental ledger of mistakes. Even though she followed rules perfectly, she couldn't stop her internal dialogue from creating self-imposed paralysis. Her confidence began to crumble, not because of the market, but because of the invisible war within her own mind. Mark's impulsiveness and Emma's overcautiousness were different manifestations of the same underlying issue. automatic brain patterns hijacking conscious decision-making. One was controlled by dopamine and instant gratification. The other was controlled by fear, overanalysis, and anticipation of regret. Both were biologically wired responses. Both were sabotaging their trading accounts. Most traders only see the surface. "I lost because the market went down," they say. But the truth is far more subtle and insidious. Micro decisions, those impulsive clicks or hesitant delays, compound over time. Emotional reactions grow exponentially. The illusion of control hides the reality of self-sabotage. The market doesn't care about your internal struggle. It moves, relentlessly exposing the gaps between what you plan and what you actually execute. Consider this. In a single trading week, the average impulsive trader makes 20 micro-decisions that unintentionally increase risk. Each feels minor in isolation, but together, they can erase months of careful planning. And the overcautious trader might miss 80% of profitable opportunities, trapped in loops of hesitation and doubt. Both suffer in ways that are invisible on the surface, but devastating in the long run. The problem isn't just money. It's identity, confidence, and perception. Mark's impulsive trades left him questioning his competence. He began to believe he was just unlucky or not disciplined enough. Emma's hesitation quietly eroded her self-confidence, teaching her that being careful and precise wasn't enough. Both were losing not just profits, but their sense of self as traders. The mechanism behind these patterns is hidden. It doesn't live in indicators or charts. It lives in the split-second interplay of emotion, instinct, and decision-making. High-performing traders seem calm, precise, and calculated. But underneath, they have learned to recognize and intervene in these automatic patterns. They understand the biological triggers and cognitive biases, and they act intentionally rather than reacting unconsciously. Mark and Emma are not unique. Millions of traders face the same invisible battlefield. Fear, greed, dopamine surges, analysis paralysis. These are not weaknesses. They are automatic reactions hardwired by evolution, amplified by the very market they wish to master. Even with perfect knowledge, even with disciplined plans, the lack of awareness allows the same patterns to repeat endlessly. Losses compound. Confidence erodes. Opportunities slip away. The market punishes what the trader's own mind allows, and most never notice. Yet, there is a perspective, a lens, a mechanism that can expose these blind spots. It doesn't promise instant profit. It doesn't predict the market. What it does is reveal the unconscious patterns that determine every decision, the impulses, hesitation, and emotional hijacks before they can sabotage the account. Mark would have benefited by recognizing the surge of dopamine, pausing, and acting with intention rather than reaction. Emma could have observed her hesitation in real time and broken the loop, seizing opportunities with clarity instead of fear. Both could have learned to step outside the automatic patterns their brains were following. This invisible battlefield exists in every trader's mind. It's not the market that is the enemy. It's the unexamined impulses and unrecognized hesitation that make the difference between consistent success and being part of the 80% statistic. Even the best indicators, the clearest patterns, the most precise rules mean nothing if the trader's mind is unaware of its own automatic behavior. Mark and Emma remain trapped in cycles, unaware of a perspective that could reveal their inner workings. Without intervention, mistakes compound, confidence erodes, potential is lost. And yet, there exists a lens that can expose these blind spots and transform decisions, revealing impulses, hesitation, and emotional hijacks before they destroy capital and confidence. Mark and Emma had no idea, but there was a tool that could expose exactly what their own brains were doing. Not an indicator, not a chart pattern, not a new strategy, but a lens into the unconscious mind. AI, not the kind that predicts the market or promises profit, but the kind that predicts human behavior. Because the truth is, markets are just mirrors. They don't care about you, personally. They amplify the patterns that already exist in your decision-making. Impulse, hesitation, overconfidence, fear. They all become visible in how you enter and exit trades. And that's exactly what AI can reveal. It doesn't tell you where the price will go. It tells you where your mind is about to go wrong. Imagine a dashboard that tracks your micro decisions. It flags every moment your instinct is about to take over, every hesitation that could cost a trade. For Mark, it would highlight the dopamine spike, the sudden itch to chase a candle before thinking. For Emma, it would show the hesitation building, every second she overanalyzes and freezes. And it does this not theoretically, but in real time, showing patterns that the naked mind cannot see. And this is where everything flips, because once you can see the internal mechanism, you can intervene. You can pause before the click. You can step back before doubling down. You can notice hesitation before the opportunity passes. That is the essence of modern trading psychology, a combination of human awareness and AI insight. So how do you take that insight and make it practical? How do you transform the theory into daily action? The first step is pattern recognition. Start by observing yourself without judgment. Keep a log of every decision that feels impulsive or hesitant. Record the moments your mind races or freezes. Over time, you'll notice clear patterns. Spikes in excitement, dips in confidence, moments of overthinking. These patterns are predictable. They repeat across trades, across days, across markets. Awareness is the first step toward control. Next, implement micro-pauses. This is deceptively simple but profoundly effective. Before entering any trade, take a single breath, count to 3, or ask yourself a single question. Am I reacting or deciding? It seems almost trivial, but this brief interruption is enough to give conscious thought the upper hand over automatic impulses. For Mark, it breaks the dopamine hijack. For Emma, it breaks the hesitation loop. Third, use structured rules with flexibility. Most traders fail because they either follow rigid rules blindly or ignore rules entirely. Modern psychology shows that a balance is required. Rules provide the framework, but awareness allows for adaptation. For example, you might set a maximum risk per trade, a maximum number of trades per day, and a rule for when to pause if emotions spike. But within those rules, you allow conscious discretion informed by your observations of impulse and hesitation. Fourth, embrace feedback loops with AI. Modern trading psychology combined with AI creates an external observer, one that never tires, never judges, and never forgets. AI can track emotional cues in real time. Speed of execution, changes in position size, hesitation before clicking, even patterns in which trades are ignored. Over time, it learns your tendencies faster than you ever could on your own. And with that knowledge, you can build anticipatory habits, recognizing triggers before they destroy capital. And yet, awareness and micro-actions are only the beginning. You must integrate these lessons into your identity, because trading isn't just about decisions, it's about who you are as a trader. This is where the transformation happens. Picture the version of yourself who doesn't click impulsively when a candle spikes, who doesn't hesitate for minutes while opportunities slip away, who feels calm when the market moves against a position because rules, awareness, and AI insights guide the response. That trader isn't perfect. They don't predict every move, but they control their reactions, and that is the edge. This identity shift is subtle but profound. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of the market. You stop blaming luck or indicators. You become the observer, the controller, the decision maker. Emotional hijacks no longer dominate. Hesitation no longer paralyzes. Every trade becomes a conscious act, informed by patterns, tempered by rules, and guided by awareness. Mark and Emma, if they applied these principles, would transform. Mark would recognize the moment his brain craves dopamine, pause, and execute intentionally. Emma would notice hesitation building, step in with conscious analysis, and act decisively. Both would still face market volatility. Both would still encounter losses. But they would no longer be prisoners of their unconscious patterns. They would trade from clarity, not reaction. And this is where motivation meets action. Because change isn't theoretical. You can implement these steps immediately. Start observing yourself today. Record every impulse, every hesitation. Take micro pauses. Apply rules flexibly. Use AI as your mirror. Every small step compounds, and over weeks, months, and years, the cumulative effect transforms results. But it's not just about results. It's about confidence, discipline, and mastery of the self. Traders who integrate AI into their psychology gain clarity faster, make better decisions consistently, and recover from setbacks more quickly. Emotional swings shrink. Stress diminishes. Patience grows. Precision becomes habitual. Imagine reviewing your trades and seeing patterns clearly exposed by AI, knowing that impulsive tendencies are no longer hidden, that hesitation is no longer invisible, that your decisions are conscious and deliberate. That's not a theory. That's a reality waiting to be applied. And with that clarity, the identity transformation is complete. You become a trader who can step into the market without fear of being hijacked by impulse or hesitation. Your focus shifts from predicting the market to predicting and controlling yourself. You respond instead of reacting. You act instead of freezing. And in that control lies consistent advantage. Every trade becomes a reflection of discipline. Every decision becomes intentional. Every loss is an observation, not a judgment. Every gain is a confirmation of control, not luck. That is the upgraded trader, the one who masters internal mechanisms before external markets. You no longer wonder whether impulsive or calculated decisions will ruin you. You understand the mechanisms behind them. You see the triggers. You control the responses. You leverage awareness, AI insight, and structured rules to trade with precision and confidence. The market remains unpredictable, volatile, and unforgiving. But the version of you who integrates AI and psychology is no longer at its mercy. You trade from calm, clarity, and consistency. You act when the time is right. You pause when hesitation rises. You respond intentionally to every signal, every movement, every candle. And the result is inevitable. Over time, patterns that once destroyed accounts now become manageable. Losses shrink, wins compound. Confidence grows, and the trader you see in the mirror reflects clarity, control, and emotional mastery. If you carry this forward, you no longer trade as a victim of impulse or hesitation. You trade as a conscious, aware participant. You step into the market with precision. You observe, you decide, you execute, and you evolve. If you're ready to evolve your trading mind, this is your next step. Observation, awareness, and intentional action, combined with the lens of AI, will transform how you see markets and how markets see you. You are no longer reactive. You are no longer frozen. You are a trader in control. And once you step into that version of yourself, the edge is not in indicators or luck. It's in mastery of your own mind.